Are you selling out if you subscribe yourself to a mode or format that you didn't see yourself doing before? I wouldn't say disagreed with, because it could be a bit strong. The context I'm talking about is yesterday I made a few TikToks for the first time. Like, it sort of felt like real TikToks where I'm standing in front of the camera and again I'm talking my ish, and I give like a little like advice thing about the camera, and I got the caption, I got the music, and it all felt very Gen Z. And it's shown to me that, you know, for one, I've been holding myself back to allow myself to create such things because of my prejudgments and preconceptualizations of the platform that we all know is TikTok. I was never a fan of it, just given the nature of it, you know, and I only downloaded it last year when I began my freelancing journey, as a means of necessity, absolutely vital, especially if I'm going to dive headfirst into the world of social media to promote artists and brands and all that good stuff. Had to get involved, so I've done that. And then over the past year I've been putting out work, and it's been received pretty well, actually. I'm pretty surprised. It's definitely a new way of working. But yesterday I filmed a few TikToks. That was me standing in front of camera, being expressive, being excitable, which I am, like, a lot, but just off camera. And it's part of this journey of being vulnerable online and showing your true self, essentially. Because, man, this morning I was screaming in the shower, singing along to some Mac Miller, like some Earl. Do you know what I mean? And then when I come to these videos, it all gets sanitized and like, I don't want to say dumbed down, but smoothed over or whatever. So then it brought up the question of, am I selling out? Because it's something that I previously did not admire, and now I'm doing it. And here's the thing, it felt right. It felt right. It felt good to have that there and made and ready. And now it's not overwhelming, but I have now been sort of processing and digesting the idea of like, like surrendering myself to the powers that be, the things that I need to do. Because that's how I want to promote myself, by showing myself online and showing my knowledge and my care and my advice for people. And so with the whole sort of things that may hold you back, things being your head, i.e. voices, i.e. that being yourselves or others, then like paired next to doing it, because it's what you have to do and what you want to do. It was not a forced thing. It all come flooding out. So am I selling out? No. Does it feel strange? Yes. This one's more of a rhetorical question. Would definitely love to hear answers. I'm happy with it, and I'm gonna keep doing it. It's not a standpoint of like turmoil. I'm glad that I've finally been doing stuff like this. I'm gonna be doing more. But it just brought up that question of just like, okay, this is something that I kind of said I wouldn't do. But that was based off so much ego. So with this ego death, essentially, of things, and accepting in oneself and accepting who I am, I'm just in this, is the word a paradigm? I don't know. I'm just in the middle now. The pendulum's swinging and I'm in that middle bit. And this is just a question. Just a question that I wanted to put out because that helps me to understand and process it and to figure things out, because you can't do it alone. I've learned that the hard way. Doing it alone in your head does not work. It's very limited, very, very limited, and very flawed. Having advice and putting out a question and hearing answers from different perspectives and points of views is very important. Somebody said on a video that I put on TikTok that also when you receive advice, don't take that, whenever you receive like your first piece of advice or like somebody saying something about your work and your art, you don't have to take that as gospel. You don't have to take that as the very first thing, and that's true. It sounds so obvious, but when somebody else says it to you, when you haven't been thinking like that, it's a proper eureka moment for yourself, and that's great. So kind of on a similar sort of vein, the other thing I wanted to talk about, which is, so I put out these TikToks and then I venture sometimes across good homies that like I've never met before, but that are cinematographers and putting out work that I aspire to make, and it makes me feel insecure because I feel like while I'm sitting here doing reels, day in the life, TikToks, talking about advice and like being the silly man that I am online, I then come across these very cool, serious bears and I'm like, I want to do that. And I get that all the time. I used to get that way more. As an example, when I was younger, I used to go into my mum and dad's room on a Sunday morning and watch Match of the Day with them, but my dad obviously, and I'd support every team that won on that match. So I was like changing teams every like 5 minutes, and it's not that serious because I wasn't like heavy on football, wasn't buying the shirts, but in that moment in time I was like, I support them now. And now I support them now because they won. So I feel like it's I have this thing where I'm like, I want to do that now, and now I want to do that now. And like before, when I was not making things and just sort of sitting there in my head, it was like that and then that and then that, and then not being able to do anything. Now that I'm doing the things, I'm got a clearer understanding of what I do want to do, and it's kind of filtering out. And when it's filtering out to the ones that I see, and I'm like, I want to be doing that, I get insecure about the things that I do. Initially, I reassure myself. It's all about talking to yourself nicer, right? Reassure myself first and be like, hey man, it's your thing. You're in your lane, doing your biz. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And then I feel better. But then, and I wrote down a note. Where does it say? Bear with me. Then a secondary side of doubt comes in about how I will reach that point, excuse me, eventually, and I will, because that's where I want to be, and it will materialize in my way, right? And it's all just very insecure and stuff, but then I kind of get down about how I feel a bit slow, and how I feel I wish I could just gone straight there rather than kind of messing around and skirting around the point, which is being a filmmaker. And then it's a constant contradiction, because then I go, well, it's not just being a filmmaker. I like to create all things. I've got a book that's sitting upstairs. I've got some clothes that I want to make still, songs that I've written like the other night, like. So yeah, wording it and voicing these things out loud definitely help with just the process of it, and just hearing your thoughts and opinions. I know how insecure it sounds, and it'd be nice to just put the insecurities out to just show that I'm not uh like I'm not I'm not trying to seem like I have it figured out, because there's when you have a business, when you're self-employed, you know, you have to show that you've got it all there. You know what I mean? You've got to sell yourself. So that's what I'm like doing and trying to do. But at the same time, I want this vulnerable side to be shown, to be like okay, like technically wise in terms of camera stuff and video stuff. I'm pretty clued up, still learning a lot, and this is the things that I'm putting out on TikTok. Still learning, always learning. I hope forever, right? But pretty clued up, and you can come to me for advice about tech. But when it comes to inner self, I'm figuring things out, and I've got like ideas and stuff. But then I'm also figuring things out, and I want that to be shown. I don't want it to the internet. You put out the best bits of yourself on the internet, and you can make it seem like you really have it all figured out. And this is just my way of just showing that I very much do not, and I'm very much here to learn more and to discover and to create a conversation and to share ideas and thoughts between each other, and just let that be known, because it makes me feel better. So that's what it is. That's what it is. It's all for the benefit of each other, so we can all go up together. All right. So that's that. But at the end of the day, okay, you got to keep. I've got a delivery coming, so I'm looking out for it. You got this. I got this. We all got this. Go out there and do the thing that you want to do. I believe in you each and every time. I want to hear your story as I'm trying to give mine. Peace and love.